It has been a while since we've been in these chairs.
It's been a long time. Luckily, the chair remembers our ass grooves.
You know, I misspoke because we use these chairs all the time.
Lot.
Just not in this room, in this context.
It's intro time. Who starts? Who says what? Remind me. Welcome to Rotten Tomatoes. I'm Ben Roden.
And I'm Brady Tomatoes.
And this is a show where we talk about movies.
Magic and Muppets.
That should be it.
Yeah, I think just the most lackluster.
Just no energy.
We're just like, we're jaded at this point. Actually, we're not. But
we're not. But it's fun. It's fun to act as if we are.
It's fun to act.
It's fun to do the bit of like, well, we're so world weary.
That's if we worked for Disney, they'd be like, check that off as subverting expectations.
It's true.
Like this is a sequel.
This is Rotten Tomatoes, directed by Rian Johnson. I like Rian Johnson.
Same.
I feel like he got bamboozled.
Do you feel? I'm assuming you're talking about Star Wars and Disney.
Yes.
Right? Because I think his Knives Out series is very good.
Yeah.
And but I do think that Star Wars, he tried to take it in a different direction, which was kind of essentially the theme of the Last Jedi. And and I wonder like just how much corporate just
meddling.
Meddling was involved in there.
It was dumb for them to change horses midstream because they did JJ and then Ryan, then back to JJ. They didn't know what was going on. Yeah. Why are we talking about Star Wars?
I don't know.
Hey, I got you this.
Oh.
It's a little rubber thing. I found it on the table.
Nice.
Enjoy that. Brady, this is an episode that's been, I was going to say years in the making.
Yeah.
We've probably not even been doing the podcast for years, but we've known this episode was coming for a while.
Well, this is one that I've really wanted to do.
Right.
This is one and we've talked about it in previous episodes, but this is something that I really wanted to do. And then, of course, external validation helped us to bring this to fruition because one of our coworkers recently watched Bo Burnham's Inside and said, I would love to hear Ben and Brady's take on this. And so here we are.
Not to be confused with Bo Burnham's OnlyFans, which is called Insides. Stupid. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Post. Cut in post.
Fix it in post. That was stupid. Bo Burnham's Inside.
Yeah.
This is near and dear to your heart.
It really, truly is. The first time I watched it, I thought I walked away from it going like, that's funny. That was okay. And then as I've gone back to revisit it, I am just more and more convinced like this is such a modern piece of art. Like this is one of the films that helped me to see movies or film as an actual art form, which I think is just so cool.
Should do an episode about that maybe.
Maybe. Did you? How long has it been since? Because we recently watched it.
Recently, as of yesterday.
Yeah, as of yesterday. Yeah. How long had it been since you'd seen it?
This is only my second time watching it, and it's been a couple years. When did you watch it? Was it still during the pandemic?
It was.
Okay. Because I watched it. I think I watched it a couple years after it came out. So you were in it.
Yeah, it was like it was interesting because I don't think it was in the very heart of the pandemic because that's when it was being filmed. Mm-hmm. It was kind of the tail end of the pandemic when I think we were still, at least in Utah, we were still mandated to wear masks, and there was a lot of controversy about vaccinations and all that stuff. And so it was kind of around that time, I believe, when it came out. Mm-hmm. And I watched it. I watched it with my wife, and we thought like, oh, that was really funny. Yeah. But yeah, so it was kind of in the midst of it. Yeah. It was very relevant, for sure.
Did you come to the conclusion that, or did you come to your feeling about it on repeated viewings, or was it just like as you thought about it?
So I actually, one of the things that really brought it out of me is when he released the outtakes of Inside, and my friend David Padikin had said, "Oh, dude, have you seen the outtakes for Inside? Like, you've got to watch the outtakes." Yeah. And so so I watched the outtakes, and for some reason, seeing the outtakes like made me very much like it brought like the finished Inside to like a different level. I was just like, I get to see like how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome. Did you get to watch the outtakes
I did.
at all?
Yeah, I watched the outtakes as well, which so much good stuff.
I know. That's
like completed like the chicken song.
Dude, the
Incredible.
The chicken is the perfect Venn diagram of comedy and art. Just
Yeah.
Like right in the middle is the chicken.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Chicken was great. There was a lot of stuff that I kind of wish had been in the special, like the whole like let's make fun of podcasters segment. Like the sort of like Joe Rogan. I don't know. I really liked it.
There was also in the outtakes. One of my favorite songs is the Future. It's like, where he's talking about like,
his
we're
daughter.
living in the future, and that one was so cool. Like I'd be interested to talk to him and find out like why he chose some of the songs he did, like that made it into the final cut and not like that made it into the outtakes.
Yeah.
But some of the ones in the outtakes are so good.
Yeah.
And
I wonder too, I know he, and we'll get into this, like did it all himself, but I wonder if at some point Netflix was like, we need some feedback on what makes it into the final product. Like I wonder if he had feedback about like, these are the songs we want in it. Because I was impressed at the level of production for the stuff that was cut.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like fragments. Like there's some complete bits, and I loved the little fake ad breaks.
Oh yeah,
the little fake commercials.
Jeans.
I loved the jeans ad. Yeah, it was really cool.
And I think it was outtakes where he does like the inside cinematic universe.
Yes,
he comes out as like Kevin
Yeah.
Feige, and oh my gosh, that was so funny.
It was cool. So if you haven't seen, well, let's take a step back further. Who is Bo Burnham? And were you aware of, was he on your radar before Inside?
Yes. So I was aware of Bo, I became aware of Bo Burnham when he did his other Netflix special. I think it was like Make Happy. It's just a stand-up special. But it was, have you seen that one? His ending rant, that was the first thing that was shared with me, is like he's kind of making fun of like a Kanye
It's the
rant.
Kanye like auto-tune thing.
And then he kind of bookends his comedy with, or his truth, right? Like he has comedy, and then he has like a kernel of like actual truth, like when he lets you into like his world and his brain, and then he ends with comedy, right?
Yeah.
So that it can become more palatable, because that's kind of one of his things that he talks about, is like that comedy is like this buffer for everything, and he talks about it like being the thing that is going to heal the world, and very sarcastically.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that where that just like hit me so hard, where he's like he talks about like his insecurities in that thing, and I was like, oh, I really like this guy's style, and so started watching some of his stuff, listening to some of his stuff, and then when Inside came out, I was like, I'm in. Let's do it.
Nice. So, in case you're not aware, Bo Burnham's a comic. Started out with like some viral YouTube videos. I think
just doing stuff on YouTube.
Doing
early
some
YouTube
kind of
days.
like, he was like a little 15-year-old doing kind of like edgelord humor. He did some like comedic songs and like rapping over keyboards, and I think that's how he got his start. By the time Inside came out, he was like an established comic, but he started getting panic attacks on stage.
Yeah.
And had kind of stopped performing live for something like 5 years. Is that right?
Yeah. He kind of talks about it a little bit, but he really, he had mentioned he had like panic attacks on stage, and he would take breaks. Like he'd do like a special, and then it'd be like 5 years, and then he'd like release something, and then he'd take a break, and so Inside was one of those things. He hadn't done anything for like 5 years.
Yeah.
He just kind of disappeared after his.
He sort of, correct me if I'm wrong, the story sort of goes that he's like decided, I'm going to get back into live performing. As he decides to do that, COVID happens.
Yeah.
He's forced inside, and he decides, I'm just going to make a special locked in this room in my house, basically. Yeah. I think the sort of media response to the COVID lockdown has been interesting, because I haven't, and maybe there are movies that do this, I haven't seen a lot of movies about lockdown. I've seen a lot of crappy movies that were clearly made during lockdown, where you're like, oh yeah, this is a COVID movie because it clearly sucks.
Yeah.
Like War of the Worlds, where it's like, oh yeah, you could tell like 8 people in different rooms tried to cobble this together, and it shows, you know?
It was just like Zoom calls.
Yeah. And so anyway, given what an impact it had on the world, to me it seems like it's almost invisible from art. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not aware. It seems like something where people are like, it's kind of a drag to talk about. And so this is such an interesting kind of like time capsule.
Yeah.
Because it's in a very meta way. It's like him coping with the lockdown and also making content about lockdown and then making content about why he makes content.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's just like, it's a cool like kind of artifact.
Yeah.
And even though like being a famous comedian is inherently kind of unrelatable, somehow the special is relatable because there's these questions of like sort of existential questions and weird like feelings of guilt and sort of being in this panopticon where you always have to cope with like, is this my experience? Is this content? Am I doing this for content?
Yeah.
Is making content an authentic thing to do? Anyway,
Yeah.
it felt like it captures a lot of interesting questions that are not inherently famous people questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I think it's one of the humanizing things. And I think that's one of the reasons I liked the outtakes so much was because you could see his special and be like, oh, it feels, I mean, it's produced and he put a lot of time into it, but it's not a Marvel studio thing where everything is just like ironed out to perfection. Like the imperfection of it is the thing that makes it art. Like just like the dirty room, he's like having to step over his like equipment and it just like really humanizes things. And to me, it kind of takes away that, I don't know if you do this with like celebrities or people that are like artists. You see like their finished product and you think like, oh man, it's just like such a polished thing.
Yeah.
And for me, like I just kind of view, I don't know, I'm just gonna just like Harrison Ford as someone that just like gets it. I don't know because the way he portrays himself on film and stuff. Oh, he's just like he doesn't really have to work for this. Like that's what it feels like in my brain.
Yeah.
He just shows up, he just does Harrison Ford, and he does it well, he's talented, and then he can just walk away.
Yeah.
But to get like a sneak peek at like what it takes to produce something, all on your own and like showing like the learning curve, like some of his shots at the beginning, like where his hair is like shorter versus like at the end where he had like been just, shooting like the light or like the window and messing with different like the lighting and like the focus and it was just like so cool to see this progression of like this artist kind of emerge in his craft. Yeah. Which I think was just so cool. I just love the humanization that this movie did. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkably produced and it is impressive like clearly how much thought went into every element of it. I'm so curious when he set out what he thought it would be. Yeah. Like, was he planning on it being as like laborious and like soul grinding? Like, was it planned where he's like, okay, this is going to be there? It seems like there's an element of that in his work where it's like, it's funny and it's quirky and it's clever, but also there is like a humanity and sometimes like a bittersweet element or like a darkness to it. Anyway, I wonder if setting out, I think specifically of the ending sequence where he goes outside and then he realizes, oh, he's still on stage. There's the spotlight on him. Yeah. And then the last shot is him reacting to that reaction. Yeah. Like, is that part of it or did some of those ideas happen because he's like, this is awful and I'm not doing well? You know what I mean? Like, how did that evolve versus how much of it was planned out?
Yeah, that would be really interesting because there's so much to unpack. Yeah. Because you think you get a little bit of like an insight as to what he's thinking. Like, he finally goes outside because that shot where he finally goes outside, it looks like
he cracks the door and it looks like
a day.
Daylight.
It looks like daylight, but it's really just a giant bright spotlight on him, right? Like as it cuts back, you see this is a spotlight. So it's like this, oh, look, he's finally going out. That's kind of what like the media, like typical media, it's like, oh, here's like the happy ending.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like, oh, he's still performing and he has the spotlight on him. And now he's trying to get back inside. Like this, he kept talking about like, you know, like, oh, we're stuck in here. I'm miserable. This sucks. I want to end my life. And he finally gets outside and he's like, I need to get back in there.
Yeah.
Because he's recognizing coming out and having to perform again is it's just another stage, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very interesting. A lot of like complex ideas, I feel.
Very much. I made a couple notes.
Yes.
I was amazed at how current it felt. It made me feel like, oh, not that much has changed, and stuff that I wish would have changed. It's like, oh yeah, no, like we still, like there's a line. He does the. This is the way the world works. I don't know if that's what the name of the song is.
With Mr. Sacco.
With Mr. Sacco.
Yeah.
And there's a line, every politician, every cop on the street protects the interests of the pedophilic corporate elite. I'm like, oh,
I know.
Like, that was like a throwaway line that's like, oh, no. And then the Epstein Files came out 6 years later, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, that's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
The Sacco sequence was really interesting to me because this is something that I've been sort of grappling with lately, which is this sort of like binge and purge relationship, or like feast or famine, I should say, relationship I have with the news and wanting to feel like tuned into stuff.
Yeah.
Something I talk about in therapy.
Ooh.
Patreon members get to listen in on our therapy sessions. No, but just the idea of like how closely do you examine stuff? How long do you look at something before you have to look away? And I actually sent you a video by FD Signifier.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a great YouTuber. He talks about this special specifically in the context of sort of like white, he calls it like white performative media. Not in a derogatory way. It's interesting. Yeah. And he liked the special. But anyway, one of the interesting things as I was watching that, the Sacco sequence is how like Sacco is speaking the truth and he gets put away. Where he's like, I can't, like, no, Sacco, like you're going to stay in line. I don't need to hear this from you. I felt the same way in my personal life about like, sometimes I have to just put the sock puppet away and like how that is indicative of like privilege, that I can afford to be like, well, this sucks, but it's a lot of these things don't affect me personally. So I can just put the sock puppet away and pretend like it's not happening. Super, super interesting. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting also to have the sock be the person, like the sock character, you know, Sacco being the one that like spits the truth.
Yeah.
Like that's the caricature, but it's like the one that's actually spitting the truth, where him like, you know, there's bees and trees and blah, blah, blah. And he's like very happy. And like his human persona was the one that was like catering, right? Like, or pandering.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting that like our inner thoughts are sometimes looked at as like a caricature.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, speaking your truth, you know, whatever that is, like can be, it's looked at as like, oh, this guy's just like a clown.
Mm-hmm.
Or like maybe he's involved in, like he looks into conspiracy theories. It's a very dehumanizing, I think, sometimes when we like speak like what we actually feel.
Yeah. Or we feel like if I say this as myself, it has too much of an impact on the persona that I've created.
Oh, sure.
So I have to create this alternate persona to get at what I really feel. It's like the little puppets in What About Bob?
Oh, yeah.
Where he's chasing her down the dock with the little Dr. Marvin puppet. She's like, Dad, not now.
I can't hear you. And he hands her a puppet.
It's the best. It's so good. Okay, so
Sacco is great.
I was impressed by, like, I think he's legit, like, just a good musician, and like the composition is great.
Yeah.
And the other thing I loved in the outtakes was just the straight up like Drake parodies. Like, there's one of the songs, I can't remember which one, is just straight up like ripping off the Drake flow, and it's just like, I just loved it. He sends up Kanye, he sends up Drake. There's a couple lines that I wrote down that we can use as a springboard for discussion, or we can just appreciate how funny they were. In the sexting song, I chicken out and send a picture of my face instead because my dick looks like the baby from Eraserhead. That one was a laugh out loud at my desk. I had it playing in the background at work. Eraserhead baby is a reference that makes me laugh every time, and I did not see it coming.
See, and I haven't seen Eraserhead, but
have you seen the Eraserhead baby?
No.
Okay, well,
we're gonna get some context.
When you see this baby, you experience in the context of all that has come before and currently existed. This is the Eraserhead baby. It looks like Lowly Worm from The Wonderful World of Richard Scarry.
It's like a more emaciated version of the Voldemort piece of soul that is like that,
like
under
the
crumpled,
bench.
Yeah,
it's just
under
like,
the bench.
Oh no.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, that's a very funny message.
That was a fantastic line.
The sexting song was so funny because I think that was there was just always so many things to appreciate. Like, that was actually a song that I was thinking of this morning. I was like, did he plan out, like, I want to have like a projector screen and it having being like flashing like emojis, like,
yeah,
like, you know, he like has a thing where he's standing in front of a screen, or he's standing in front of the wall and the projector is just like covering him and like the wall. But then there's also scenes where it's like closer up and you only see the projection on his face.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, is that something he thought up beforehand, or like how did he get to that point where he's like, it'd be really cool to just have like the eggplant and like the peach and you know, stuff on my face. And then he's talking about, I love that he went through the process where you're just sending like emojis.
Oh yeah.
At first.
She sends a peach, I send a carrot.
Like, she sends a Ferris wheel.
And he's like, oh no.
Yeah. I send a ticket and he's like, oh no, did I just imply that like her vagina's the size of a Ferris wheel?
And then she sends a snowman and he's like, okay, it's
fine.
We're back on track. She sent a snowman. That was great.
Yeah. Very good. So one of the, I thought it was, in my rewatch this time, the song that like really stood out to me was like Saving the World with Comedy. It's like the one that he opens with. I thought, like, I just didn't really pay attention to it that much, but like where he talks about like being, it was almost kind of what we said when we did our first episode of Rotten Tomatoes, where we said we're two like white dudes with beards, like with privilege.
It's about time we've had our day in the hot sun.
We finally have like a voice, a platform to have a voice, and that was interesting because he brought up the same things. Like, yeah, I'm a white guy and I'm a celebrity, and I have privileges, so like, what am I going to do? How do I make a difference in the world? And he's like, no, I can't. And it's like, and then it's like his caricature can like, I'm going to save the world with comedy. I thought it was an interesting thing because even that, like, it's a funny premise, but it's like him coming to terms that like the talent that he has is not necessarily the thing that is going to help him like live to his values. Like, he has these values of like wanting to change the world, and he recognized like the thing that I'm able to make the biggest impact in the world with is by using my comedy. And so it's like an interesting thing because the character in that song is very much like, yay, I'm gonna do it, and like, this is my calling and I'm gonna make a huge difference. But it kind of feels like there's disappointment there, like that he's limited to like having to use comedy to make it like to make a difference, and then he has to find like justification, like, no, I am making a difference with my comedy. I thought it was like it was a very heartfelt, very silly but heartfelt thing. It was just one of the I don't know, just showcasing the brilliance of Bo Burnham. I loved that Saving the World with Comedy song. It was really great. Yeah, it is like, it's very, very self-aware and self-referential, and it is sort of like
it causes you to question, like, how meta does this get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so self-referential. Is it in the outtakes where he does the reaction videos where there's like 6 layers of him reacting, or is that in the actual special?
That's in the actual one where he's talking about the intern. He sings this just a silly song about an intern, and then he reacts to him. He reacts to that song, and then he has to react to his reaction to that song, and it just keeps looping over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really funny bit.
It was a good bit, but also, it makes you think about, like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing a podcast?
Yeah.
Why do we feel like this conversation needs to be filmed and listened to? I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it is sort of a marker of the times we live in where it's like, okay, how do I monetize this? How do I create content? And what does content mean?
Yeah.
I kind of hate the word content. Increasingly, I'm just like, it just feels like slop.
Yeah.
Like making content. Like, what did you make exactly? It's, the podcast-osphere and the reaction content-osphere is like, what are you?
Yeah.
I get these reels or videos all the time, which I'm a victim of. Just like, oh yeah, I'll get on like the little YouTube shorts and watch them for 25 minutes without realizing. And so many of them are like a fairly interesting video, and then some guy's face in the corner justifying it as content because this is me reacting to this passing
and they just
interest, and they're like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, another example of like, oh yeah, like not much, a ton has changed since 2020, but in many ways not that much.
Yeah, we're still
It's crazy to think about too, like how prescient the themes of this special are. And like AI wasn't even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, there could be a whole like additional song about that.
Yeah.
There's a couple lines that I loved. There's a shot of him like laying on the floor, his head on a pillow, the camera's from above, and he's talking about like, maybe we shouldn't have let tech CEOs like monetize the neurochemical drama of our children. It's like, that's the neurochemical drama. I loved that line. I also loved the idea where he's talking about suicide. Is that in this special
it's
or
in
both.
The outtakes? Yeah, it's kind of throughout.
But when he's talking about like, I don't want to kill myself, but if I could kill myself for like a year.
Yeah, just for like a year.
Which is like, oh my gosh, man, so real. Wake me up in a year. That would be the best.
So speaking of AI, that's kind of been a really hot topic. I think one of the reasons why this is going to stand like the test of time is because we're probably going to see more and more AI stuff come out, and AI it has its imperfections, like Will Smith having like multiple hands while he's eating spaghetti and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that stuff is getting better, but it almost feels like there's no soul. And so this one Inside is just going to like, it is a peek into Bo's soul, like the bright side of his soul, the dark side of his soul, the bored side of his soul, and like all of and I don't think AI is ever going to be able to replicate anything like this. Like it is going to be.
Speaking of the Will Smith spaghetti thing, to me it just perfectly encapsulates the issue with AI, because I've been seeing these videos of like, remember when we showed Will Smith eating spaghetti and it was dumb, and now it looks photorealistic? That's like, cool. But why are we making videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti? Like, what does that do for the greater good? It's just like, so this is the limit then of like, what if you had a technology that stole from real people so you could create a video of Will Smith
eating spaghetti,
the most milk toast guy ever. Milk tooth sounds like
milk tooth.
Milk tooth sounds like the sequel to Saltburn. Anyway, yeah, it's very, very funny, very weird.
Isn't it fascinating though that like, and this is more evidence that this is like a work of art, because it's generating discussion. It's not just like, hey, remember that funny song you sang about farts?
Yeah.
It's because there's so much soul put into it. It allows for like other people to watch it and to soul search and to have discussions about things, which I think is so awesome. There's so many. You had mentioned where he's talking about the the social media changing like the neurological drama, like manufacturing their neurological drama. There's so many like just tiny little philosophical bits that then would lead into a song, like it was almost like a segue.
Yeah.
But you could tell like that's what he chose those bits, even though they weren't necessarily funny, and he tacked something funny to the end of it or to the beginning of it to justify it.
Yeah.
But it still was like he wanted to be able to say what he wanted to say.
Yeah.
And throwing it in that context, I think, is
totally
super smart.
Back to your point about like his song is it's like he realizes he's a comedian and that's where his value is. So there is this like you can tell he's a thoughtful guy, but he also realizes I don't get to just be a philosopher.
Right. You can't. Like
it's like this prison of like who I am as a comedian. So like I'm gonna imply how I feel, or I'm gonna throw in these little Easter eggs. But really, it's not my place to like give a lecture or a sermon. I'm gonna stick to dick jokes and
right.
And it's I don't know. It's super interesting. Like the layers of like self-reference and self-awareness. I think about like the scenes where he's filming himself like crying, and it's so weird. Like it's weird to imagine doing that. I think of like Bert Kreischer, where he'll like post Instagram pictures of himself crying. I'm like, F you, guy. And so I wonder, like, obviously he's going through it, which is relatable. As he's going through it, as he's feeling himself cry, is he like, this is stupid that I'm feeling myself cry? I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
There is like, I think about the line in one of the songs about "Come Out, We've Got You Surrounded."
Oh yeah.
To me, that's talking about like the constant feeling that you're being observed. And I mentioned the word like the panopticon. That's what it feels like to be alive right now. And even when you're not being watched, you have like an internal audience of like, oh, like how does this look? Am I being cringe right now?
Right.
Anyway, it's super, super interesting to see that. And because it's only him producing it, it invites these questions of like, okay, I feel bad. Do I need a shot of myself feeling bad? And does that invalidate how I feel because I'm filming it?
Yeah.
Does it make it less authentic because I'm using it for capital C content?
Right.
It's super interesting.
Yeah, there is a whole lot to unpack. I think it would be interesting if people like use this in like philosophy class. I think there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot of like ideas, and there's like some things that like there's like you said, like how meta is this? Because I think like the more you look into it, the more you'll discover like, oh, there's a lot of like underlying messages.
a lot going on.
So speaking of that, one of the things one of the notes that I took as I was watching it, I believe it was White Woman Instagram that he actually won an award for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll have to look this up.
He won a bunch of awards.
But yeah, it was nominated for an Oscar, I believe. Inside Oscar. I'd Googled Inside Oscar, and the first thing it said is The Grouch's garbage can.
I Googled Inside Oscar, and it was like a Rule 34 thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't share it on the podcast. It was Oscar and a worm, and it was just horrific to see.
So, where is this? I just want to see his awards. This is not important. Grammy Awards.
Wasn't there like
Let's
a
see,
Peabody Award?
Emmy Awards, writing for a variety special, YouTube video outtakes. Okay, well, I might be misremembering something. But White Woman Instagram was at some point like that had been given a lot of praise. I want to say it won like a Golden Globe or a Grammy or something. Because it's interesting because this was like a movie, but it was also like a musical album, right? Like it was kind of an interesting thing. But White Woman's Instagram, almost the whole sequence is done in like a square ratio. just like Instagram.
Yeah.
And there's a part where like he's talking about all the things you would see typically in like a feed. There's like the goat cheese salad and like an avocado and like a golden retriever with a flower crown and a quote by Martin, or a quote from Lord of the Rings incorrectly attributed to Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
But then there's like the part of the song where he talks about like a post that someone would make that was real. It's like her favorite photo of her mom, and the caption says, "It's been a decade since you've been gone." And when he's talking about that, the ratio changes. And you see like the crop actually stretch to like the full length of like the screen.
Yeah.
And then as it's wrapping up, it goes back to square.
Yeah.
And I thought that was one of those things where he's like, that's visually communicating an idea that like the stuff we see on social media is only this big. We only get a small bit of the picture, which is something that's not a new idea.
No, but it's an interesting way to present it.
Yeah, a very
to show
interesting
that like
way.
If this is this frame is artifice. This is the put on, and then for a moment we see into the reality.
Yeah,
we're accessing something authentic, and then it
and then get right
goes back
to
the performative.
Yeah,
Instagram
because we gotta
stuff.
see like the things that people want.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if that's maybe a commentary on how he feels too, like where we talked about him needing to like wanting to have like philosophy, like that song is very much like it's like his MO, where he has like the funny things. Here's some real. Here's a real piece of me, and here's the philosophy, or here's like my thoughts, and here's the things that are bothering me. But then I have to make sure that you continue to consume this by giving you the stuff that you came here for.
Yeah.
Which I think it was really, really cool.
It's super interesting. I feel like this happens with a lot of comics. I think the one that comes to mind is Mike Birbiglia, where he's transitioned to like his specials now are like, it's more like a one-man show than it is a comedy special. It is more like, this is a long story with very clear themes, and it's really thought-provoking, and it's good.
Yeah.
Even Dave Chappelle is getting this way now, where like it's funny, but there's a through line, and it feels like a composition. And this is interesting because it's still very like comedy driven.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it's like the songs are very funny, and then peppered in are these interludes, or maybe it's a throwaway line in the song where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's some depth here. There's like some commentary happening.
Yeah.
Has he done, I know he's done like interviews and stuff. Has he done any specials since Inside?
No.
He did that movie. He did 8th Grade.
Yeah, he's done like other things like directing or writing, is what I read. But as far as like his stuff, like I'm going to be like the comedian Bo Burnham hasn't done anything. In fact, I think he got rid of like all his like social media. Like you can
really?
look at stuff on Twitter, and it's just been nothing for a long time. Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, it's just like vanished. And actually, that actually brings up a good point, because I'll see people post clips, or they'll do like a video about like Inside, and they'll say like, oh, we need Bo Burnham now, because like we need like his insights, and like we need him. And in a way, like if people were paying attention, this kind of work put a lot of pressure on him, and it was like impacting his quality of life. And so him stepping away, I think, is fine.
Yeah.
And I think if he's like, I never want to do anything for the rest of my life, like in this realm, then we should allow him to do that and not be demanding to be like, you need to give us more. Because that's the stuff he's been communicating in his stuff, is like, this hurts me, but I'm doing it because there's a part of me that needs to, because this is my talent or my gift. And there's a part of me that wants to, because I have thoughts to share, and I know I need to bookend it with the stuff that you like. But overall, it's like it's a thing that really taxes him mentally to like have to keep up with like the people's demand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just like interesting. Everything's just interesting. Like this is why I freaking love this special. It's so good.
Yeah. One thing that occurred to me watching it this time is the sort of like when we talk about parasocial relationships,
Oh yeah.
it often feels like the layman, the rube to the celebrity, right? But I think it's echoed in what a lot of comedians talk about, where there is like a parasocial need for audience approval.
Mm-hmm.
And for Bo, I hate that I just used his first name. Ew! It's like when, okay, here's a pet peeve of mine. When actors name drop other actors, but they use an even more informal form of the name to show like we're really friends. Like when people talk about Marty Scorsese, I'm like, go to hell. I don't need to. I know that you know him. I don't need to know that you call him Marty. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's like if somebody was like me and Harry Ford. His name's Harrison Ford. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sure Harrison Ford doesn't go by Harry. He'd probably punch you in the face if you called him Harry. But anyway.
No, I know exactly.
I don't know what
about.
My point even is. I just didn't like that I called him Bo. I felt
so
very
you have to
like
say Bo Burnham every time.
His name's Robert, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that because I was looking up the lyric about Robert's been depressed lately when he's talking about scheduling the haircut. I'm like, okay. I also have a cousin who goes by Bo, whose name's Robert. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I am just so full of crap. It seems like my buddy Rob Burnham, Robbie, that's what his friends call him. Robbie Burnham and I have talked about this a lot. He seems like the perfect example of the sort of almost addiction to audience.
Oh yeah,
where it feels like it's destructive to him, but also like he needs it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it feels like this isn't healthy for me, but at the same, like he talks about his childhood, about I'm alone in a room trying to be funny, that like this need for external approval has shaped him as a performer and as a comedian, but also as a person. And so it's this very double-edged sword of like, I need this for fulfillment, but also I'm overwhelmed by the attention and the feeling of being observed. And
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That was so long for like a middling point.
Yeah, I did.
So long for a middling point is kind of our whole podcast. It's like we just talked for 45 minutes for very little insight.
And we could have just said we liked this.
Inside was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It was a pretty good show. One more line I wanted to bring up in the outtakes. He says, "I just want to know how when Dippin' Dots is going to condemn child sex trafficking." That idea was really funny to me.
Well, that was a bit that was cut from the inside, because he's like, I'm a brand manager, and he's talking about how these people need to be involved and like they need to have the PR to like, oh, Arby's is standing up against like human trafficking or whatever, but it's just like this commentary on businesses, like we're going to do the right thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For our image.
This is something I think about a lot, is like, speaking of parasocial relationships, I think American culture, and maybe Western culture, maybe it's just modern culture because it's globalized, is like we have this slavish devotion to brands and celebrities. Mm-hmm. And it's like almost the only way we know how to interact with culture is like who we support or speak out against.
Yeah.
Like, I think about like the whole like the Budweiser controversy. They had the like trans spokesperson and people like lost their minds. And it's so weird that we feel like, oh, we can only interact with the world through our relationships with these massive corporations or with famous people. Yeah. Is this someone, do we stan Bo Burnham, or are we canceling Bo Burnham? Like, this is how we... Voter turnout will continue to suck, but by God, I'm going to have a hot take I can put on Twitter about X celebrity or X brand doing X thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is really interesting that it's like a rallying point.
Yeah.
Right? Like
my favorite song of the whole the cinematic universe, including the outtakes and the original special, was the one he performs with the guitar.
Oh yeah.
About sort of like we had it coming.
Yeah.
And it felt like a really downbeat, like we didn't start the fire, because he's just like naming these weird trends and these sort of just absurd things that exist.
Mm-hmm.
And he never says it, but it's like, we're done. Like, as a species, it's over already.
Yeah.
And this is a feeling I have a lot where, like, I'll see something that inherently is just kind of funny, but I'm like, as a society, we've just existed too long. Like, the Doritos Locos Taco is something like the Roman Empire would have come up with, like 3 days before the fall of Rome. Like, all these, and I love that song so much because there's no clear connection between here's all these funny things and then like we had a good run, basically.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel sometimes, where it's just like the absurdity of what I see on the news and what we experience, and like the fact that Labubu's exist. I'm just like, yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's just wrap it up. We had a good run. It's like so bleak, but also kind of like comforting that like, okay, other people get this.
Yeah.
That song in particular made me feel like, made me feel like very seen and understood.
Yeah.
And still expressed in like a really like appealing, funny way.
Yeah.
That was the one. And honestly, I didn't remember that song. I didn't remember that much of it, honestly. I remember liking it, and I remember the editing. I remember the visuals more than I did like the songs, and so it was fun to refresh. But that one in particular was the one that I came away with like being really moved by.
Yeah. I had the same vibe as like this kind of felt like we didn't start the fire. But just very, very low key. But it is interesting because I feel like that's a very I think everyone kind of dips into that, right? Like, what are we doing? Like, we just see like this massive divide, or like we see people saying like, oh, this is exactly how things are. You're like, are you insane?
Yes.
There is no way that's reality.
Well,
like,
dude,
you're creating your own reality.
I shared a post at work in like our Slack channel about like somebody like on LinkedIn sent this or made this post that was like, here's some AI prompts you can use to make your AI writing sound less like AI. And I was like, okay, we're done. Like, drop the bomb, Mr. Putin. Like, we did it.
Yeah.
Just write make a line under it. As a society, like, we've done all we can do. Let's go back to the Stone Age and start over.
Man. So you had mentioned something earlier, and maybe we're getting off track a little bit, but that's fine because we can do whatever we want. We don't have to conform to anything just because you want it.
Yeah.
But
we're not beholden to the 9 people who listen to this. Shout out you guys, by the way. That's not
Tyler
a diss.
Jeffries. We don't have to do what you want us to do.
Screw you, Tyler Jeffries.
He's gonna love that part.
Gosh. Aaron Beanfield acts like he owns us.
But I actually forgot what I was gonna say. We talked about AI.
AI prompt to sound less like AI.
Oh, yeah. So this whole thing, this is something that I wrestle with because I make videos and stuff, and there's always like this thing inside of me that's like, should I be filming more? And I see this like I'll see like Inside, and I get like really inspired, and I'm like, I don't need to have perfection to make stuff. Mm-hmm. I can just make stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's also this like part of my brain that taps in and goes, why do you want to make stuff? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, because it would be like, I want to be creative. And it's like, but is that really what you want?
Yeah. Do you want attention?
Yeah. It's like, if you made this and you put it online and nobody listens to it, nobody likes it, it doesn't generate any revenue, but you dedicate 5 years to this thing.
Yeah.
Would you still do it?
My answer is yes, because this podcast is proof that if nobody cares, we will continue to do something.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm saying like we're doing this because we like it, but there's still like a part there is something inside of me that like as we're talking here, I'm like, what if Bo Burnham listens to this podcast and he's able to hear like, hey, we think you're a genius. Thank you. You deserve any time off that you want to take.
Yeah.
Like if you never do this again, fine. Thank you for your work.
Yeah.
Right? How cool would that be for him to hear that? Or if this all of a sudden goes viral and we're like, oh, we can make a living doing this. Like there's like a utility. There's like this like need to like make things a utility.
Yeah.
In my brain.
Yeah. What can I get out of this?
Yes. And that just like that to me, I'm just like, no, if it becomes like a utility, it's like, I don't want to do it because I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And
so, does then it instantly become a burden?
Yeah.
I think about that actually in the context of this special. Like, one of the things that I found really interesting about the lockdown was how stuff that you might want to do felt oppressive because you were being forced to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wonder if he felt the same way, like, how cool to be like, oh, I can just stay at my house and make a comedy special that contains whatever I want. That's great. But because you can't go outside, because you don't have the option to do something else, then it's like, oh my gosh, now this is this thing that is eating my soul.
Yeah.
I felt that way a lot where, like, and maybe I'm going the other direction where, like, during, like, the lockdown, I was just like, man, I know, like, literally hundreds of thousands of people are dying, but, like, driving on roads with no traffic, this is kind of awesome. Like, the moment to moment of it was kind of like, no, I could get used to this. Anyway.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. This, I'm just trying to tie my comment back to, like, what you were saying about this, like, LinkedIn thing. Because if we look at AI as, like, a way to streamline it where we don't have to, we can use these prompts to make AI feel less like AI, then it just kind of kills the art of things. Like, we're using things for a utility. Like, that's all.
Yes,
that's
and
all
then
writing
why
is
are we
becoming
alive?
Now. Yeah, like, what's the point?
I remember, I maybe have even mentioned this on the podcast before. There was, like, a Super Bowl commercial where they used AI. This girl was like, "You're my favorite athlete," and they use AI to write a letter to this athlete. I'm like, what? Just kill yourself. Just literally die. If you are using AI to do the stuff that makes your life real and authentic, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Use it like AI, great. I'd never want to write another Excel formula if AI can do that for me. Am I going to tell AI to write a screenplay for me? Why be alive?
Yeah.
Literally, why be alive? I will be in the Matrix. I will be a human battery before I do that.
Yeah.
We got to have one quick Muppet tie-in.
Okay.
This is hard to cast, but
because it's just
one person. But I do have a Muppet that I think, like, if you just plugged this Muppet in for Bo Burnham, it would be hilarious.
Okay.
It's Scooter.
Ooh, okay.
Just because he's a little neurotic, and, like, I would just love to see Scooter, like, starting out kind of, like, bubbly and happy and writing songs, and then, like, by the end he's just, like, naked and sobbing. I think Scooter Inside would be solid.
That would be very fun. I was thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, how do we cast this as a Muppet? Like, do we have different Muppets? Like, does it destroy it if you have different Muppets take different segments?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I have thoughts about this as well.
Jeffrey Bezos. Like,
yeah.
You have Kermit doing that. But then does that kind of kill what the message is? Is like, it's...
Here's I think the angle you do with that. It's during lockdown, and they have to do an episode of The Muppet Show, but it's all remote. And Kermit is the organizer, and so Kermit's like trying to keep the band together, and it's like all happening via Zoom call, and then you have the interludes where Kermit is just like internally just losing his mind.
Oh man, I think that would be cool to see, just like a lone Muppet.
A lone Muppet would be amazing.
Yeah,
a Muppet, just a one-man Muppet show would be incredible. Think of the scene. There's a scene where I almost called him Bo again. God damn. Where Mr. Burnham is he's trying to do a voiceover. He does like a couple takes, and then he kind of just gets pissed and like drops the mic. It's not in the outtakes. It's in Inside.
Okay.
Anyway, he's talking about, like, I've been working on this for a few months, and he's trying to do the. Like, he's doing like some voiceover, and it kind of like loses it and drops the mic and kind of gets up and it's kind of banging stuff around.
Yeah.
I love when Muppets are just thrown like objects.
Oh, yes.
So I would love to see, like, Kermit's like, so I've been working on the... So he swears, curses, gets up, and then you hear him banging around, and then Kermit's limp body just gets tossed in front of the camera a few times, inexplicably. Like, he's so mad, he just is like tossing himself across the set.
Oh my gosh, I just keep thinking of some of the visuals that you see, like where he's just like in the mirror and you just see him like adjusting the focus,
yes.
And to have like the cabled hand of like a Muppet like twisting the focus and coming into play, or like you love Muppet feet. And
I love Muppet feet.
There's plenty of like, like things where you're just seeing like, him stepping across stuff, but to see like the the marionette-esque Muppet feet stepping over the equipment. So good.
Muppet bundled up in a blanket on the ground with the microphone, just like, oh man.
Does a Muppet still use, like if it's Scooter or Kermit or whatever, does he still use Socko?
That's a really good question. Or just the puppeteers in that
yeah,
in that
it's
bit.
Just Kevin Clash. It's just like
phenomenal. There's it's like the Will It blend. It's like Will It Muppet. Almost everything will Muppet.
I don't think we've talked about anything that won't Muppet.
Certainly there are more apt Muppet adaptations,
right.
But I think everything will Muppet with enough ingenuity and perseverance. And that's the takeaway.
Yeah, that's the message that's how we speak our truth. Is we talk about something for a while, but like the real nugget of truth is that we need more Muppets. Things would be more improved, and Hollywood, listen up, because we need more Muppets. And then we're gonna bookend with something else, and then we'll end. Like Bo Burnham.
We did it. Just like Bo.
Just like Bo.
Just like Robbie B, my dearest friend.
Robbie B. Oh man. I feel like I could keep talking about this forever, but we kind of have to end.
We don't. I mean, we could do 2 or 3 more episodes as per our typical MO.
Yeah, I would love at some point, I don't know how we do this technically, but to do an actual reaction. We talked about reaction content, but I do think that like watching the song, like a bit or a song, and then just dissecting it and talking about it, I think, because we're just kind of going off memory, right, and like our notes. But I think like to provide better context for like the people that are watching or listening, and we're kind of going on that journey together, and then we kind of walk through our thought process. I think would be another
it's a great idea
episode. But
we'll experiment with that.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Tyler Jeffries. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll shout your name next time as well.
We'll shout it. We'll shout it from the rooftop.
Tyler Jeffries!